Are you aware that your digital life could be just one vulnerability away from a potential cyber attack? Do you know what these vulnerabilities are and how you can protect yourself? If you're seeking answers to these questions, then you're in the right place. Welcome to Arkratius Technology College. In this video, we will tell you about the top 10 vulnerabilities that could get you hacked, and here are those. Number 1, unvalidated redirects and forwards. This issue is related to input filtering. Consider a scenario where the target site has a redirect PHP module that accepts a URL as a GET parameter. By manipulating this parameter, an attacker can create a URL on targetsite.com that redirects the user's browser to a malicious site, such as malware.com. The link might appear innocent, resembling the legitimate target site, leading the user to trust and click it. However, clicking the link could result in the user being transferred to a page with malware or malicious content. Additionally, inserting unsanitized user input into an HTTP header can result in header injection, posing serious security risks. To prevent this, avoid unnecessary redirects, maintain a list of validated redirect locations when essential, and use a secure whitelist approach for user-defined parameters. However, be cautious as implementing a robust whitelist can be challenging. Number 2, using components with known vulnerabilities. This is a maintenance and deployment concern. Incorporating new code requires research and auditing to ensure web security is not compromised. Using code from unfamiliar sources, like random GitHub repositories, can introduce serious vulnerabilities. Outdated third-party software, such as WordPress plugins, left unpatched, can lead to website compromises and unauthorized access. Even hidden installations like phpMyAdmin can be discovered and exploited. Software development should not end with deployment. Proper documentation, testing, and maintenance plans are crucial, especially for third-party components. To prevent issues, it is essential to avoid blindly copying code and instead thoroughly inspect it before integrating it into your software. Stay updated with trusted components and establish a regular update plan. Subscribing to product newsletters keeps you informed about security vulnerabilities and updates. Proactive updates are vital for a secure application. Number 3, cross-site request forgery. A CSRF attack, also known as a confused deputy attack, occurs when a malicious third party tricks a web browser into performing actions on behalf of the attacker. In this attack, the attacker exploits the victim's browser, cookies, and active session to send requests to a target site, like the victim's bank. If the bank is vulnerable and the victim is logged in, the attacker can manipulate another browser tab to misuse the victim's browser credentials, creating the confused deputy problem. The deputy here is the victim's browser, mistakenly following the attacker's instructions. To prevent CSRF attacks, websites should store a secret token in a hidden form field, verifying it to ensure legitimate requests. Some sites may also ask for a password before modifying sensitive settings, particularly on shared computers where abandoned sessions could be exploited. Number 4, missing function-level access control. This vulnerability occurs when proper authorization is not enforced during server function calls. Developers often assume that since the server generates the user interface, clients cannot access functionalities not provided by the server. However, attackers can forge requests to access seemingly hidden functionalities. Even if a particular functionality is not easily accessible in the UI, attackers can still discover and exploit it if authorization is lacking. For instance, if there is an /admin panel with a button visible only to admins, an attacker can misuse this functionality if proper authorization checks are not in place. To prevent this from happening, always ensure proper authorization is implemented on the server side to mitigate this vulnerability. Number 5, sensitive data exposure. This web security vulnerability concerns cryptographic and resource protection. To ensure security, sensitive data must always be encrypted during transit and storage. Credit card data and user passwords should never be transmitted or stored without encryption, and passwords must be hashed using strong algorithms like AES 256 bits and RSA 2048 bits. Avoid sending session IDs and sensitive data through URLs and use the secure flag for cookies. Implement HTTPS with a valid certificate and perfect forward secrecy for data in transit, rejecting non-HTTPS connections. For data in storage, minimize exposure by storing only essential sensitive data. Avoid storing credit card information, and use payment processors like Stripe or Braintree. Encrypt and securely store sensitive data, hashing passwords using bcrypt. Be aware of salting and protection against rainbow table attacks if bcrypt is not used. Crucially, keep encryption keys separate from protected data, preventing potential security risks. Encrypt backups and maintain strict key control to prevent key loss. Number 6. Security misconfiguration in web security. Misconfigurations are common and can lead to vulnerabilities and security breaches. Examples include running debug mode in production, enabling directory listing on servers, and using outdated software with known vulnerabilities. Running unnecessary services also increases the attack surface. Neglecting to change default keys and passwords is a significant oversight, allowing unauthorized access. And revealing error details aids attackers in exploiting vulnerabilities. To address these issues, establish an automated build and deploy process with tests to catch issues before production. Implement post-commit hooks to prevent deployment of code with default passwords or development remnants, improving overall security. Number 7. Insecure direct object references. Trusting user input without proper validation leads to a severe security vulnerability known as direct object reference. This exposes internal objects like files or database keys to users, providing entry points for attacks. Attackers manipulate these references, exploiting weak authorization to gain unauthorized access. For example, in a download.php module without proper authorization, attackers can access sensitive system files. Similarly, a password reset function relying solely on user input can be exploited to gain access to other users' accounts. To prevent these issues, implement robust user authorization, use whitelisting for user choices, and store sensitive data internally. Session variables and frameworks offer a secure solution for managing data. Number 8. Cross-site scripting. An attacker can inject harmful JavaScript code into your web application's input. If this unsanitized input is then displayed to users, their web browsers will execute the injected code, leading to a security vulnerability called input sanitization failure. Attackers can exploit this by tricking users into clicking on crafted links, allowing them to access the user's cookies and gain unauthorized control. To prevent this, avoid directly returning HTML tags to users, protecting against HTML injection. Convert HTML entities to another form, preventing browsers from interpreting them as actual tags. Alternatively, use regular expressions to remove HTML tags, but this can be risky as some browsers might mishandle malformed HTML. Safer is converting all characters to their escaped counterparts for proper protection. Number 9. Broken authentication. Broken authentication can lead to various problems, each having different root causes. Building a custom authentication code is not recommended due to the complexity involved, leading to numerous potential pitfalls. Some of these pitfalls include session IDs being exposed in the URL and leaked in the referrer header, inadequately encrypted passwords during storage and transit, predictable session IDs facilitating unauthorized access, and vulnerabilities to session fixation and hijacking, especially when correct timeouts and HTTPS are not implemented. For prevention, the most effective way to mitigate web security vulnerabilities related to broken authentication is to utilize a reliable framework. However, if custom code is necessary, it is crucial to be extremely cautious and well-informed about potential issues to prevent security breaches. Number 10. Injection flaws. Injection flaws occur when the application does not properly filter untrusted input, allowing attackers to insert malicious commands into parts of the system like SQL servers, browsers, or LDAP servers. This can lead to hijacking clients' browsers and data loss. To prevent injection flaws, it's crucial to filter all input from untrusted sources. Instead of using a blacklist approach, which can be easily bypassed, it's better to use a whitelist. Pattern matching methods like those used in antivirus software are not reliable for this purpose. Filtering input is challenging since all input must be processed unless it's entirely trusted. Even if you filter out 999 inputs out of 1,000, one unfiltered field can still cause problems. Another dangerous situation is called second-order SQL injection, where an attacker injects a result from one SQL query into another. Even if the database is secure, indirect input from a malicious source can still be harmful. It's recommended to use filtering functions provided by frameworks, which have been thoroughly tested for security flaws. If you're not already using a framework, consider adopting one to improve server security. And that's it for today. If you liked this video, please give a like and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.